Garden State. It's Real Sports Talk with Kenny Kluska on the
Welcome, everybody, to episode number 71 of Real Sports Talk with Kenny Kluska. Of course, I'm your host, Kenny Kluska, here for another marvelous, splendid episode of Real Sports Talk. A lot to talk about today. Of course, got to start off on a somber note. Everyone knows about the unfortunate passing of the GOAT, greatest of all time, Muhammad Ali, passing away late Friday night, age of 74. Rest in peace to him. Pretty much the most iconic sports athlete probably ever. I mean, there's best of all times in other sports. Most people say Jordan basketball, Gretzky hockey, Babe Ruth baseball, etc. But, Muhammad Ali is just a transcendent figure. So many quotes from him over the years: float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Will sorely be missed. Of course, hasn't been doing well for quite some time, but we'll always have the memories of his great boxing matches. Joe Frazier, George Foreman, amongst them. So rest in peace to the GOAT, Muhammad Ali. What do we got coming up in the sports world? Well, in 2 weeks from today, we have WWE's Money in the Bank pay-per-view. Of course, the Money in the Bank is a ladder match where the winner, gets a Money in the Bank briefcase and has a year to cash it in for the World Heavyweight Championship. 6 guys in it. There were supposed to be 7. I don't know if they're going to put a 7th in or if they're going to stick with 6. Those 6 guys are Cesaro, Del Rio, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Dean Ambrose, and Chris Jericho. The only one of those guys who has won the Money in the Bank previously is Alberto Del Rio. I would say probably the 2 most likely to win. I'd say Owens probably most likely, then Cesaro, and maybe Ambrose. But always an entertaining match. Made its own pay-per-view. Used to air at WrestleMania. The 2 matches that are currently on the card are Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. Roman Reigns champion, Seth Rollins just returning, never truly lost his championship, lost it due to injury. And AJ Styles, who went through a heel turn at Monday Night Raw, him and the club attacking John Cena in Cena's return Monday Night Raw Memorial Day. He will take on John Cena. Should definitely be an interesting match there. So that's 2 weeks from today. We are 18 days away from the NBA draft. Philadelphia 76ers are on the clock and, by all accounts, are expected to take Ben Simmons out of LSU. And we are 95 days away from the NFL opener, Thursday Night Football. Denver Broncos versus Carolina Panthers, a rematch of the Super Bowl. No Peyton Manning, no Brock Osweiler. More than likely, we'll see Mark Sanchez under center for the Broncos. We'll see how that turns out for Denver this season. That's a Thursday night opener. Most teams start that Sunday. So 14 weeks from today, 98 days, is when most football teams begin their season. Right now in hockey, Stanley Cup Finals, we have the Pittsburgh Penguins holding a 2-1 advantage. We're up 2-0 going into last night, but the San Jose Sharks were able to win in overtime by the score of 3-2. As Jonas Donskal, 24-year-old rookie, had the game-winning goal in overtime. He had just 11 goals in 76 games during the regular season, stepped his game up, 6 goals in 21 games during the current postseason. Game 4 tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on NBC. Will the Penguins take a commanding 3-1 lead, or will San Jose continue to will San Jose continue the trend of the home team winning each Stanley Cup game? First two games were in Pittsburgh, won by the Penguins. Game 3 in San Jose, won by San Jose. Game 4 also in San Jose. Tonight is Game 2 of the NBA Finals, taking place at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on ABC. Of course, rematch from last year's NBA Finals between the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Golden State Warriors. This year, Cleveland is healthy. Of course, last season, Kyrie Irving got injured late in Game 1, did not reappear in the finals. Kevin Love got injured in their opening round matchup against the Boston Celtics when he got tied up with Kelly Olynyk. He missed the rest of the playoffs, so, two of the top three players on Cleveland were out. LeBron James did what he could, but, wasn't enough as Golden State was able to win. Game 1, though, also went to Golden State, took place on Thursday. 104-89 was the final score, and Golden State was able to win despite subpar showings from Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, the Splash Brothers. Curry finished 4 for 15 for 11 points. Thompson 4 for 12, 9 points. Those 20 points combined for the two was the lowest mark of the season for them. And, despite that, they still won by 15 points. And, that was due in part largely to the bench play for Golden State, which thoroughly dominated Cleveland's bench, led by Sean Livingston. 8 for 10 from the field, 20 points. Really was the MVP in Game 1. Andre Iguodala also had a very solid game off the bench. Golden State's bench outscored Cleveland's 45-10. Disappointing showing for Cleveland's bench. Guys like Iman Shumpert, Channing Frye just did not show up during Game 1. Pivotal Game 2 for Cleveland as if Golden State is able to go up 2-0. Teams that are up 2-0 in the NBA Finals have went on to win the NBA Finals 28 of 31 times. So, do the math, that's slightly over 90% of the time. So, it would be a big hole for Cleveland to climb out of against a team who had the all-time best regular season at 73-9 this past season. Of course, they almost got eliminated by the Thunder. We're down 3-1. Came back to win. I believe they now have 6 straight wins, including the regular season, over the Cavaliers. Try to make it 7 tonight. Just long layoffs in these NBA Finals, though. As I mentioned, Game 1 Thursday. 2 days off before playing today, and then another 2 days off before Game 3 on Wednesday in Cleveland. I'm not a fan of it, but, the NBA is about ratings, trying to find the best times to air their games. So, if that's what they want to do, people are still going to watch. I believe Game 1 was the highest opening game of an NBA Finals rating in NBA Finals history. So, people are still watching. I'm sure people watch Game 2 as well. Two faces of the NBA, Steph Curry and LeBron James. So, Game 2, of course, tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm going to take a short break. My last two shows, I talked a lot about baseball. Talked about quarter of the season MVPs, Cy Youngs, things of that nature. Last week I talked about some of the more disappointing players and, a lot of superstar players who have struggled early on in the season. Guys such as Giancarlo Stanton has been a major disappointment for Miami. I mentioned Matt Harvey. I believe I had him second or third on the list, and since then has made 2 quite good starts for the New York Mets, including today. But, those of you who know me know I'm a Miami Marlins fan. And Marlins were able to win one of the 3 games against the Mets, which was today's game. And it's because they had their ace on the mound, Jose Fernandez. Oh, God, he's just so fun to watch, let me say. These my Marlins haven't really contended for the playoffs the past couple seasons, but whenever Jose pitches, it's definitely a thrill to watch. Today, 7 innings, 14 strikeouts in a 1-0 victory. So Matt Harvey pitched great, just, ran into a buzzsaw, and Jose Fernandez won 8 straight starts now for the Marlins. His last 8 starts, 8 wins. Tied the Marlins record with Chris Hammond. It was actually done in the Marlins inaugural season of 1993. So Fernandez will be going for the Marlins record of 9 straight wins for the Marlins coming up in his next start. So I'll take a short commercial break, and we'll be talking more NBA once the commercial break is over. Talking more after the season, though, when free agency begins, and some of the under-the-radar free agents who could play a pivotal role for their new teams if, they decide to leave the team that they are currently on. So I'll be back after this short commercial break.
The following announcement has been paid for by the New World Order. Hello, this is the intrepid traveler, Paul London. Good journey, y'all. When you're ready to whip your rock out, do it with Coach Kev at Damage 365 Radio.
Esposito's Pizza and Pasta. Check us out on one of our fine locations, 930 Route 34 in Matawan, New Jersey, or 233 East Main Street in Manasquan, New Jersey. From pizza and salads to pasta and buffalo wings, we have something to suit every member of your family. Whether you're seeking to take out, delivery, or just want to dine in, let us do the dishes. We would be more than happy to take care of your next meal. Our courteous and friendly restaurant staff is here to meet and exceed all your expectations. We promise an enjoyable experience each and every time we serve you. Try our award-winning Sesame Seed Crust Pizza, the recent winner of first place in the Las Vegas Pizza Open in the Artisans Division. Visit us online at sesameseedpizza.com for store hours, menus, and phone numbers, or just stop by one of our 2 great locations. You'll be glad you did. Esposito's Pizza and Pasta, so close to eating at Mom's, but without all the yelling.
You're listening to Damage 365 Radio, and this is ECW Original, the Angry Amish Warrior Roadkill. You kill us.
Welcome back after that short commercial break from Damage 365 and our sponsor. So, before the commercial, I mentioned we will be talking about some of the more under-the-radar free agents in the NBA. There's some big-name free agents, probably none more so than Kevin Durant. Durant, I'd say more than likely will stay with the Oklahoma City Thunder, but, the way they lost that Western Conference Finals after being up 3-1,